Welcome in. Cheers to the Philadelphia Phillies on being National League champions and advancing to the World Series. Feels very good. Feels very good. You know, this is the first time that the Philadelphia Phillies are advancing to the World Series since 2009. Yes, this is the Bitcoin Crypto Weekly close. I'm very excited to bring to you a lot of work that I've done today, looking at a lot of different charts. But I want to take a moment to talk about the fact that the Philadelphia Phillies are advancing to the World Series, and this has a really big possibility of being a very special year for everyone who is a Philadelphia sports fan. You know, we got the Philadelphia Phillies who are in the World Series. We got the Eagles looking like at the moment they're the best team in the NFC. Yeah, it's I'm on cloud nine right now. I'm feeling pretty fucking fantastic. You know, and when you look at the Phillies season, like I was in awe. I was in awe watching the game. You know, there was a moment in the bottom of the eighth where Bryce Harper was up with a runner on first, and I texted my brother and a buddy of ours, and I can't repeat what I said. I won't repeat what I said. But I basically said, if Bryce Harper hits a home run here, I'm gonna something. And literally like 2 pitches later, Bryce Harper hit a home run. And I could not believe it. I mean, it's something out of a story. Like watching this series was unbelievable. And even if you're not a Philadelphia sports fan, even if you're not a huge baseball fan, just watching these games, it was just something surreal. Like I stayed up Saturday. What's up, brother? Glad to have you here. Because, I mean, just as a sports fan, like watching the series, you know, on Saturday night was unbelievable. San Diego went up 4-0 in the first inning, and we came right back and scored 3 runs in the first inning, and went from there to go on to win 10-6. Unbelievable. We fucking swept them at home. We're 5-0 in the playoffs at home. The crowd definitely plays a part. One of the most resilient Philadelphia teams I have seen that I can recall. And speaking of resilient, we're going to bring this back to crypto. Speaking of resilient, I want to give every single person here who's watching this and listening to me a ton of credit to you if you've been resilient during these past several months, because if you were here last Sunday, one of the things I spoke to is that my view macro picture is that Bitcoin is in the midst of an Elliott wave. You know, we have this 5th impulse wave to complete going into 2023 that's going to likely take Bitcoin over 100,000. You know, I pointed to around 116, 120,000, whatever. As the 1.618 fib extension. Whatever the case is, look, guys, I've been wrong plenty of times and right plenty of times, okay? And even if I'm incorrect, and I kind of spoke to this last week, or actually during the happy hour, I spoke to this past Thursday, and we get some quick capitulation wick, and, you know, Bitcoin hasn't bottomed, and maybe it hits 16,800 or whatever. Who the hell cares? The fact is that, you know, I have pointed to so many different charts and data science models, if you've been subscribed here for a while, you know this, that say right now is a huge buying opportunity. So it's generational buying opportunity. So if you've been resilient during this time period and you've been buying and converting even more fiat into crypto, again, never financial advice, but like myself, similar to myself, if you've been converting more fiat into crypto than you even thought you would have been because prices have been suppressed this low for this long, I really feel very confident that you will be rewarded going into next year. So with that being said, I am super stoked that the Phillies are in the World Series. This smile is not going to be leaving my face for a long time. So it looks like more than likely we're going to be playing the Astros, but we'll have to see because the Yankees are getting their asses handed to them. I think they're down 3-0. I was watching part of the game last night or yesterday afternoon before I watched the Phillies, and they're at risk of getting swept. So it looks like it'll probably be Houston and Philadelphia, and The American League won the All-Star game, so they'll have home field advantage throughout the World Series, which sucks. But for everyone new tuning in, make sure you check out my TA content. I'm on Twitter at CryptoBullGod. I'm also on TradingView at CryptoBullGod, YouTube at CryptoBullGod. Make sure you click the bell for notifications. If you've click the bell for notifications, make sure you unclick it and re-click it again. I've heard some issues with that on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram at CryptoBullGod doing some motivational gym stuff on there. You can check that out. But thanks for everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment here. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. Make sure you drop me a comment. We're going to get into the live TA Q&A at the end of this segment. I have several charts that I'd like to go through. As we always do on the Bitcoin Crypto Weekly Close, I'm going to go through sort of some high-level charts here on the weekly and 2 weekly. Now, one of the nice things about this weekly close is not only are we getting a weekly close, a weekly candlestick close on a lot of these, on all the charts, but we're also getting a 2-week close, okay, which is great because we'll take a look at 2 week and week on a lot of these charts. And then what I'm going to go into actually gets into the thumbnail and the title of this video, which is, are Bitcoin and crypto coiling up? I'm going to go into a lot of different charts that look like essentially there's a lot of accumulation or a lot of similar chart formations in many of these crypto assets. Now, I did want to say, if there's a crypto asset or two, you notice I sort of like don't cover a chart that I normally would cover. That is intentional. And the reason is because I do plan to churn out a couple extra videos this week speaking specifically to those projects, so I don't want to steal my own thunder ahead of time. Like I said on the happy hour, the goal is to up the content on my channel. I'm going to do 2 live streams consistently every week on the Sunday weekly close as well as the happy hour. But then I'm also looking to put out 2 additional published videos as well every week. Thank you, Todd. Fucking appreciate it. I'm feeling it right now. It's hard for me to contain the excitement, I'm excited to do these charts with you guys, but right now, I want to be in Philadelphia and attempting to climb one of those greased up poles. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Go on Twitter. On the poles, like the light poles in the city, they started greasing them up in anticipation of the Phillies winning tonight and them having people just mob in the streets so that people won't be able to climb the light poles and go crazy. So I can't wait to wake up tomorrow morning and just see all sorts of Twitter videos in Philadelphia. I really wish I was there. This is the first time all year I really wish that I was in Philadelphia right now. Really wish I was there. Who knows? Maybe I'll make a trip to go to a World Series game. You never know. All right, so let's get into some of the charts here. So this is a weekly view on Bitcoin. You can see we're getting a bullish weekly candle close at the moment here. Now, we're only an hour and 5 minutes away from the weekly close. So what you want to keep an eye on is how this candlestick, the formation of this candlestick, and we really want this green body as thick as possible. Guys, I'm going to hit on the same points that I've hit on before because nothing has changed. As bullish as I am in the macro, okay, I hate the fact, I hate being down here underneath the 200 SMA. The longer we're getting down here, the longer we're staying underneath the moving average, the greater the extent of the weakness that is being expressed in price action and the higher the likelihood there is for the potential to a drop to the downside, okay? So while I've come on here and told you I don't feel we're going to have any massive dump in price, I've said this over and over and over again, it doesn't mean that I could be incorrect. I'm just giving you my assertion of the chart based on probabilities and things that I've looked at and shared with you guys. But, and this is one of the things, again, I repeat this stuff over and over again. This is one of the things that chartists, people who don't chart things don't understand. No one can come out here and tell you with certainty, like Nostradamus, of what direction price is going. You read the chart, you use past information and current information to make inferences, right? I say this all the time to lead you in a most and least likely direction. So, my educated guess based on the price data is we are going to move up and push up against this 24,000, roughly 24,000 level of the 200 SMA. We really need to see that soon. Like, I'm getting sick and tired of looking at this chart and seeing price action under the 200 SMA. Like, whether it's this week or next week, we need to make a serious run at 24,000, okay? If we're still under here in November, I'm getting increasingly nervous. Hey, thumbs up for everybody new tuning in. Appreciate it. Help supports the channel. I really need to see a push up towards this 24,000 level in this next coming week or two. All right. What's up, Tom? Glad to see that you could join. Welcome in. We're just covering our first chart here, brother. So, so that is the sort of bearish case for remaining under here. Now let's check out some of the price indicators, and then we'll go to a 2-week. The 41, let's look at the moving average just real quick, right? The 41 level is, and the reason I have it in orange, it's specifically for a reason. Typically when we've dropped below 41, around 41, we've seen a massive decline in price, right? So we dipped below it here back in April of 22, okay? So we really need to see price action get above this 41. So if you're pulling up a weekly chart on Bitcoin, look at the 41 level on the RSI. One strong indication that strength is coming back into the Bitcoin chart is if the relative strength index starts pushing up above 41. Let's take a look at the stochastic RSI. Stochastic RSI is in a very healthy shape, very healthy level right now. With this weekly close, I mean, you can see where it's going to close, but once we open, the blue will definitively be above the orange and will probably be around 70. So we're in a real healthy level within the stochastic RSI, and that's good to see. Let's look at the 2-week. And you can see, the only other thing I'll point out here I've kind of touched on is, we have this macro descending line of resistance we need to break up through. We have this shorter time frame downward line of resistance I've also drawn, okay? Now, again, the basic premise within charting is to create higher highs and higher lows, right? So this is bearish, okay? High, lower high, lower high, and lower high. So the first step is to take out this lower high here at 25,200, right? We want to get up in this area. We can cool back and create a higher low, and then come up around this area to take out this other higher low, right? Punch up above like 38. No, actually punch up around 32, 33,000 and take out this high. So that's really what we want to see kind of high level in the chart. Let's take a look at the 2-week and see what we're seeing. Sorry, I was screaming quite a bit. Okay, so the 2-weekly chart. One of the things that I pointed out to you guys on the 2-week that I wanted to make sure to mention to you is while some channels go surface level, the difference between my channel and most other channels that I've seen is I take things a step further to really explain at a deeper level what we're looking at. So in this case, what am I referring to? What I'm referring to is the stochastic RSI. Maybe some channels will put out some clickbait on the stochastic RSI on a 2-week chart crossing negative and how it's a warning flag and speaking in the past about how we've had massive corrections. I take things a step further and I actually assigned probabilities to having a negative cross above 20 on the stochastic RSI on the 2-week chart. And I told you the likelihood that we would see a massive correction, right? If you've been here for a few weeks, you know what I'm talking about. This thing is positive, and with this close, where we're going to close at around 19,600 we're at right now, we're going to see this thing continue to churn up, right? So what I'm trying to say is when we saw this cross here, while some channels were digging their heels into the fear porn and trying to get you to click on their thumbnails and sort of telling one side of the story and emphasizing that, I took an unbiased view and I said, okay, this is a caution flag. This is a warning indicator on the stochastic RSI, the fact that we got a negative cross when we've been above 20 on the 2-week chart. But let's actually look at how many times this has occurred in the past, how many times it's resulted in a significant correction, a non-event, and calculate the associated probabilities. And so if you've been here for a couple weeks, you saw that and you knew that there wasn't any major reason to be concerned with this, but it was an indicator. It was a caution flag, right? And so this caution flag to date hasn't been anything alarming. And in fact, we're crossing back up positive, nothing to be concerned with. So that's what I'm looking at on the 2-week chart. Let's take a look at this chart. If you've been, I'm not going to re-explain this, but this is still pointing to the fact that for me, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed over the fact. And, I explained this crude estimation of 180. We took a look at the 1.618 fib extension for that fifth wave to get us to about 120. regardless whether you're looking at 120, 150, 180, these things, once we impulse and we get euphoric in the market, things tend to overextend. So it would not surprise me to see Bitcoin extend well past 120. But the point of emphasis here that I really want to speak to, that I hit on last Sunday is A, B, C correction. Okay, this fourth extended correction wave within an Elliott wave structure, and based on timing, it would make sense that we would top sometime between April and July of next year. And I know that seems, like I said last week, I know that seems impossible right now. Things change very quickly. Narratives change very quickly. Look at the rumors going on with the Federal Reserve. Now, while I don't base my trading or investment decisions based on the news that is being fed to the herd, that stuff is baked into this, right? That stuff shows up in the charts. The charts accounts for all that stuff. The charts account for news. The charts account for human emotion. I just look at the chart and it's telling me a story. But interestingly enough, it's pretty intriguing that the rumors going around right now are that many people in the Federal Reserve, there's a little bit of possible dissension. Maybe dissension is too strong of a word, but there's disagreement on if the rate hikes have occurred too quickly and we need to sort of back off of that. Really fucking amazing. I've been speaking to that for weeks, that there would be obvious consequences in looking at indicators that are lagging, and the fact that you're raising interest rates from literally zero to several percentage points higher in only the course of several months, right? So obviously there's going to be negative consequences with that. You don't even have to be well educated to understand that. Yo, what's up, Brendan? So it's interesting to see that play out, though, right as we're at a pivotal point, right? Interesting how if some of these rumors come fruition. Now, the one thing, and we'll speak to this more on the happy hour, but I don't want to lose my take away from what I wanted to speak about this coming week, but really pay attention. Again, these are just rumors, but really pay attention to the words that the Federal Reserve ends up using, because those are the things that it doesn't have to be specific action. Really, it's words that you have to pay particular attention to know if and when the Fed is truly going to begin pivoting, okay? So we'll speak more on the happy hour. Make sure you click on notifications to know when I go live. We'll have a happy hour this Wednesday or Thursday. But we'll speak more to that in the coming week here. But look, nothing has changed here, all right? We're looking at Bitcoin on the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks. You guys should be familiar with. I've spoken to this. The red signifies trend direction to the downside. Green signals trend direction to the upside. There's momentum either way. Red's bad. Green is good for bulls. So, but red would actually be good if you're short and you're bearish, but nobody here is bearish and no one here is short, right? So we have this, downward line of resistance here. I mean, you can clearly see it here. We've sort of broken out above it, or broken out, I shouldn't say above it, that is incorrect. We have not broken out above it. We've just sort of skirted out here. That's nothing really major. The real major thing here is we want to start seeing some green candlesticks being printed on the Heikin-Ashi to indicate to us there's some trend momentum to the upside. So what you want to do on TradingView today, okay, if you can pull up a chart, pull up the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks. It's very easy, okay? You can change between candles. And see where I did that there? Point my finger like you can see me do that. Click on Heikin-Ashi, okay? And that will give you your candlestick change there. See if the next candlestick ends up printing green, okay? That's what you really want to look for. Ethereum, not much has changed here. Now, at the moment, this is very good to see, okay? This is actually a 2-week chart, okay, on Ethereum. This is a hammer candle. Now, what is a hammer? This is a green hammer candle. If this prints anywhere near 1366, this is very bullish. Let me explain to you why. This is a typical trend reversal candlestick. Now, with every candlestick, we can sort of tell a story, right? You guys know if you've been here for a while, I like to break things down in simplistic terms, in layman's terms. And I also like to allow the chart to tell me a story. Okay, tell me a story. So what this candlestick is telling me is that price opened right here at the bottom of the green body at around 1322. We had volatility that took us all the way down to 1190. Buyers swooped in. They're like, that is so fucking low, I'm buying it up, all right? Demand came in and bought up the price, and now we're above all the way. We created this wick. We went all the way above where we opened this 2-week candlestick, and now we're at 1366. Look where we're pushing up against. This is not coincidental, okay? It's funny how non-technical analysts, people who cover the news on YouTube, will speak to the charts when it benefits them, but when something they don't agree with shows up, they poo-poo technical analysis. It's just, you have to weed that stuff out. It's not coincidental that we have a wick here and now we're pushing up here, okay? This is major resistance. This zone represents our prior all-time high from back in 2017/18, okay? So you can see it represented resistance here, and once we pushed above it, we stayed above, we bounced, and once we broke below, we've been, below here for like 4 weeks, okay? So the big thing you want to see on Ethereum on this 2-week chart, obviously, kind of stating the obvious here, we have a low, a high, and a higher low. Let's maintain this higher low. Let's start to push up. Let's break this downward resistance. See the downward resistance? Let's break this downward resistance. Let's get somewhere up in this area to create 2 higher highs. Look, 2 higher highs, 2 higher lows. These are the basic building blocks of a bullish narrative. Okay, that's what we want to see on Ethereum. Let's take a look at the price indicators on Ethereum. Not too much to say here I haven't spoken to. It's breaking some descending lines of resistance on the RSI, which is good to see. Let me look at the weekly real quick. Yeah, this gives you a further level of appreciation. Nothing really on the indicators I want to talk to. We're hugging the 200 SMA. We're above it, which is really good to see. This is a greater expression of strength than Bitcoin. The fact that Ethereum's weekly price action is above. I got some short shorts on, right? Sometimes they hike up. I got the short shorts going on. I got the shirt, the tight shirt on. CVG doesn't wear baggy clothing. Plus I'm a little not sweating, but a little bit, because I've been screaming and yelling and going crazy here. Anyway, Ethereum is expressing a higher degree of strength in its price relative to Bitcoin, and the reason for that is because we've been hugging the 200 SMA, this pink line, okay? But right now we're actually above it. All right, which is really good to see, which we need to see Bitcoin do, right? We just spoke to the fact that Bitcoin needs to get above 24,000. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that my spider senses are telling me we're going to see a move up in Bitcoin towards 25,000 soon. Those are just my spider senses going off. So we'll have to see if that comes fruition this week or next week. But I see a large move coming in Bitcoin. The other thing I've spoken to is volatility's been down, right? Actually, I don't want to steal my own thunder. We'll get to that chart. But basically, volatility's been down. We should expect a very large move, whether it's up or down, in the crypto markets very soon, whether it's this week or next week. We should expect something very soon. So this is very encouraging. We're pushing up here against resistance. Not too much on the price indicators. Nothing overly bullish or overly bearish, just kind of neutral. All right. Let's get into dominance. Guys, if you want to see a true descending triangle and a bear flag, this is it, okay? This bullshit here that I spoke to is not a descending triangle in my opinion. I already spoke to that. I'm not going back over and rehashing. But if you want to see a true descending triangle, this is it. And like I've said, we had this fake out. We re-entered the formation and been under here, which is very common, and now we have this flag pull. Now, I gave the technical target, which puts dominance at 22% roughly. Now, if that pattern plays out, what that's going to mean is a massive run for altcoins and also a large run for Bitcoin. We'll have to see. This is on the 10-day right now. Let me get on the, I think that's because I had the pattern drawn that way. Let's get to I think I accidentally flipped to that actually. This is on the weekly. You can see right now, we're getting a cross up in the MACD, which could be a leading indicator. We could see further upside. I've spoken in the past that it wouldn't surprise me to see a wick, not a candle body, a wick come up maybe to the 46 or 45, 47% area and then kind of close still underneath the formation to still have a valid formation as a descending triangle and bear flag. Thumbs up. Appreciate it. Help support the content. Spread this stuff around in the cryptoverse here so that people can actually view logical content and not hype material. But, you know, there isn't anything overly alarming here that would persuade me to say that the formation isn't going to work out. Now, when would this pattern be invalidated? This is something that we haven't spoken about in a while. Well, this pattern would be invalidated if we started coming up here and getting candle body closes up here. If that happens, this formation isn't gonna pan out. It's not a descending triangle and it's not a bear flag. We'll have to kind of see how it works out. But for now, this to me is telling us that there's a high likelihood that we are going to see a breakdown below our all-time low back in 2018, and we are going to be going down very low towards, like I said, around 22%. Okay, that's what I've drawn out to you. I have a whole YouTube video on it. You should check it out if you haven't. By the way, guys, if you have not checked out that video, let me tell you what that is real quick. I have it actually pinned on my profile here. So check this out. It's Bitcoin and crypto set to shock the world. So check that out if you have not checked that out. What else do we have here? Dollar index, okay? So I tried to make this a little bit more clear for everybody so they could understand price levels to watch for in the immediate next several months. What I have drawn out in green here is sort of the stair steps. I'm not going to pull up price indicators. We've spoken at this ad nauseum. But basically, there are definitive negative divergences on the RSI that are taking place that are suggesting there are cracks beneath the surface of the foundation of the dollar index, which has led to bullish momentum going up. Okay, it's one thing to watch something go up in price, but look at the underlying surface, right? If you're seeing cracks in the concrete, if you know how to read a chart and you're seeing, yeah, price is going up, but look underneath the foundation. The foundation looks really weak. It looks like the house might sink. The house looks real strong. It's being built real strong, but it looks like quicksand is starting to come in there, and it might sink the home, right? So that's sort of what I've been trying to spell out for you guys, all right? Trying to, once again, create a picture for you. Thumbs up, everybody. Appreciate it. But basically what I've done here in the immediate future is I've painted out 3 definitive levels that we want to watch for on the dollar index, okay? Now this for us, again, the dollar index and crypto have an inverse relationship, meaning as the dollar is appreciating in value and going up, asset classes like the stock market and crypto tend to go down, okay? But when we get a massive decline, as shown here, this is when we go on our massive bull runs, okay? As the dollar is correcting in value, this is when we have our massive run in the cryptocurrency market, right? So what we want to watch for is the dollar to come down and correct at these levels. But what I was saying is this prior weekly close, this prior 2-week, weekly candlestick is very bearish. The story being painted here is we opened here around 112.7. We went all the way up to about 114. There was exhaustion. Again, cracks underneath the surface of the foundation for the dollar's parabolic run, right? There are cracks underneath the surface, and demand just wasn't there, and it got exhausted and fell all the way below we even closed. Before we closed below where we opened. Okay, that's what this thick red body is. All right, now we've opened up a brand new candlestick. So we want to watch for the 108 area, the 105, and the 101. 101, I would say 101 to 100. 100 is a psychological area. Don't let anyone fool you, because I saw some bullshit that was being put out there from someone that does news on YouTube and doesn't know how to read a chart. When we talk about this chart and we talk about demand levels and price levels and indicators and stuff, it's the same thing as looking at this chart. It's no different. You can chart the dollar index and you can chart the Bitcoin index, right? So we can talk about buyer exhaustion, seller exhaustion, being oversold or overbought, areas of demand, areas of support, areas of resistance. It's all the same. So please do me a favor and do yourself a favor. Don't let anyone who reads you the news in crypto tell you what is true or not true in technical analysis. Okay, have they taken any professional classes to actually read a chart? Okay, so reading the dollar index is the same thing as reading a crypto chart, is the same thing as reading a chart on Nvidia or Tesla, any stock. Okay, so these are the key levels that you want to watch for: 108, 105, 101, 100. Okay. Now, one of the things we'll have to watch for, and we'll get into it at a later point. I don't want to jump ahead here. But on the 2-week chart, do you see this? The 50 SMA is crossing above the 200 SMA. That's a golden cross that's very bullish for the DXY. And in the past, there are some things that have occurred where that has happened, but I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, okay, here. We'll hit on that several months down the road. I don't want to, and there's a reason I'm doing that. It's intentional. But for right now, concentrate on the fact that these are the price levels we want to watch it to correct to. On the weekly, so same sort of thing. You just get a more granular level and appreciation for the price, but the same price levels that I drew still exist, that I've drawn still exist. So the 105, the 108, excuse me, the 105 and the 101. Let's go to the Dow Jones real quick before we start getting into some other charts. Let's look at the Dow Jones and the S&P. Now, why do I want to show you the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P? Well, if you've been following my content, again, whether it's on Twitter or YouTube, you know that the cryptocurrency market is very correlated to the stock market in general, right? So there's a positive correlation, right? Just like on the dollar index, I just said that there was an inverse relationship. In this case, there is a positive correlation, meaning that if the stock market in general is appreciating in value, so will cryptocurrencies. If the stock market is decreasing in value, so will cryptocurrencies, okay? So what's really good to see, this is on a 2-week chart, what's really good to see, this is on the DJI, Dow Jones Industrial Average, very bullish candlestick. This is a bullish engulfing candlestick because the body of this has completely encapsulated this entire candlestick, actually. Okay, it really just needed to encapsulate the body, but it encapsulated the entire candlestick. Very bullish. Stochastic RSI, once this candlestick opens, this thing should be crossing positive, which is great. It's above 20. You see the RSI is very healthy. We're getting a positive cross up above the moving average here on the RSI. And we are right now sitting at 45. I expect this thing to be higher at 45 once we open. The name of the game here on the Dow, if you want to see, and you really need to keep an eye on this, okay? You need to keep an eye on other charts besides USD values. If you're an average person, okay, well, first off, none of you are average because you're in this market. Let me make that point. Nobody listening and no one watching here is average because you're in the cryptocurrency market and you are so far ahead of many intelligent individuals that I speak to. There are many gifted and intelligent people that are, in certain ways more gifted and intelligent than me, but they're completely naive and have no idea what's going on in the world around them within crypto, okay? So none of you are average, but if you, okay, let's say as a person that's in crypto, if you want to remain average, all you're going to do is look at this USD chart and this USD chart. You're never going to look at Bitcoin dominance and extrapolate anything. You're never going to look at the dollar index and make any inferences, and you're not going to be keeping an eye on the Dow Jones and S&P. You need to be viewing these other charts. You need to know what's going on and why it's important to assess them in relation to the USD values within crypto, okay? Thank you for the positive compliment there, Kachi. I appreciate it. Tom, you agree. Glad to see. So basically what you want to look for on the Dow Jones, besides just keeping an eye on these price indicators, my phone's getting distracting. I'm just going to turn that over. Getting some text messages on the Phillies. What you really want to watch for, now, as you know, I like to keep it stupid simple, right? So I'm really going to give you one thing to watch for. This is going to be really easy, guys. Draw this descending line of resistance, okay, on a 2-week chart. Boom. Make sure you have the wicks touch, and we touched the body slightly here. On this next, once we open here, okay, we're going to open like right here at about 31,000, okay? We need to get a candle body close. I don't want a wick. If we get a wick, again, this is going to be 2 weeks worth of price action. So if we look at our calendar, it's this week and next week. So this thing isn't going to close out. I'm not going to be speaking with you about this all the way until November 6th, okay? But what you want to see is this candle body open here, and maybe we'll go back to this and watch this 2 weeks from now. Maybe I'll figure out how to do that, and we'll watch it together. But what you want to see is the candle body close above this line. We don't want to wick and then to close back in here. That is expressing strength. Now, the second thing you want to see, okay, beyond a candle body closing above descending resistance, what do we have going on? A high, a lower high, and a lower high. Can you guess what I'm about to say? We need to get above this lower high. The first thing we need to see is a candle body close right around 30, let's just say 33,900, okay? Once we start getting up towards 33,900, 34,000, Now we're negating this lower high. We get up here, or excuse me, we get up in this area, we're negating this lower high. We get up in this area, we've created a new all-time high. That's how you do it, okay? That's how you do it if you want to turn things around in this chart and get bullish, all right? That's what to watch for on the Dow, S&P, very similar things that I would communicate to you. Price indicators, stochastic, not as favorable. We're above 20, which is good to see. It'll curl. It'll probably be about neutral if we can get a real positive candlestick to come in here. Let's not pay attention to the 21 EMA. We need to get above the 21 EMA. That's also a key moving average. That's something you want to keep an eye on. Candle body close above the 21 EMA on the S&P would be very good on a 2-week chart. But the stochastic RSI, you want to see for this thing to cross positive, right? RSI is in very good neutral level at about 42. But again, I like to simplify things, okay? We don't need to overcomplicate the charts. Once again, similar to the Dow, we have lower highs and we have downward resistance. Let's start pushing up. Let's get above this level. I've even drawn it out for you. Let's just call it 4,300. We need to get above 4,300, okay? Once you see the S&P starting to move above 4,300 and we get a 2-week candlestick that closes above it, game on, motherfuckers. Game on. Just like the Phillies, we were game on today. All right, let's take a... Nope, that's not what I wanted to look at. This is what I wanted to look at, and then we're going to get into a few other charts, and then I'm going to take your questions. Okay, what I want to do... Oh, this is good. I haven't looked at this since this morning. I put a lot of this stuff together since this morning. What I want to start to do is I want to formulate in your heads... I would state that differently. I want to get you on the same page with me and take you inside my mind. I want to take you inside my brain. I want to get you inside my head. And I want you to know, how many more different ways can I say that? I want you to understand why I'm saying that things look like they're coiling up, okay? I want to show you things that get you to see like you're looking through my eyes, okay? This is the Bitcoin 12-hour chart. Not going to repeat things on why this is so important. I've spoken to this countless times. But basically what we've had here is we have had price coiling up, right? And you can see we're potentially breaking out right now. It's very good on the 12-hour to see we're above the 50. But the point here on Bitcoin is we're coiling here. We're coiling here. Price has to do something soon. We're not just going to go like this forever, okay? Now, I said, this chart is getting really dirty. The more we're down here and the more we keep hitting this, I don't like it, okay? This floor is at some point going to give out, okay? I've been saying countless times over and over again, we need to get at some point a push definitively much higher. Well, we're starting to see some volume come in here and a potential push higher. Really want to see price continue to churn up here towards around 20, 21,000, okay? But this is the first chart I wanted to show you where things are coiling up. It looks likely we're going to have a move at some point, either to the downside or upside. If we look at Ethereum, the same shit's going on, okay? We have price coiling in this area. It's not going to be range-bound in here forever. At some point, okay? And by the way, we keep hitting this area, and you know what I've said about that. It weakens it, okay? It's a ceiling. We're cracking the ceiling. We haven't hit the floor much, okay? We've only hit it one time. At some point, we're either going to go up or we're going to go down. Okay, we're not just going to stagnate in this range forever. Things are coiling up on the Ethereum chart. The other thing is, look what this is saying. Anybody know what this is? Of course, everyone listening knows what this is. This is bullish divergence in the RSI. We're looking at a daily chart. As the price has been stagnant and doing this shit and coiling up, RSI has been increasing. In layman's terms, what's going on is strength, the relative strength index, the relative strength within price is increasing. It's getting stronger and stronger, and we're building momentum, and price is just going sideways. This is where you want to fucking scale in. You want to scale into this shit because most likely, not certain, but most likely we're going to have a move to the upside, okay? Let's take a look at Binance. Now I have this is on a weekly. We have descending resistance here, right? You can see we're starting to test up. Okay, the first thing I would point out with Binance, again, it's important to understand even if you're not invested in some of these larger scale tokens. Like let's say you're not invested in BNB, all right? understanding still what's going on in the top 10 coins is critical. It's critical because these things sort of set the foundation for the rest of the market, right? Ethereum is the king altcoin, okay? So it's very important that Ethereum expresses strength within the market to help to facilitate, now the words I come up with here, to help to facilitate growth and excitement and exuberance and liquidity to flow into the other smaller tokens. Okay, it's very, very important. So BNB getting ready to coil and spring up is very good for the rest of the market, right? So we have this downward resistance here, and right now we're pressing up against it, okay? But let me take your eyes off of that. So that's the first thing that's going on within this chart. The other thing, I don't think there's any price indicators I wanted to look at. Price indicators look very good to very neutral. They look very good. The other thing is there is a potential, can you see this pattern with me? There is a potential, whoops, sorry. Ascending triangle, bullish formation. So if we actually take a measured move for an initial move up and we just sort of measure it, you really should be measuring it further. Well, you want more touches here. So let's measure it right about there to right about there. And let's say we break out about there. You know, they're looking for an initial move up to like, actually there's price confluence there too, interestingly enough, to about 500, 516. So to me, Binance, BNB ticker symbol, it looks like it's coiling up. Let's go to XRP. This is on the daily. Now, guys, I've pointed this out to you before. What is going on? Okay? This is a flagpole, and this is a pennant. This is a potential flagpole. And by the way, for those, and I really appreciate it because it's gotten a lot of views. I had about 1,200 views on this video so far. For those that assessed, who watched my assessment for the Flare airdrop, thank you, Flare community. Thank you, Hugo. I really appreciate it. I'm going to have to re-release another unexpected video because that assessment was based on current price action because for where Flare could be, because they said that we would have the airdrop between October 24th and November 6th. Now that's gotten pushed off to January. So my analysis in some ways is still valid and in some ways is not valid. So now I have to release a follow-up video to that. But anyway, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, right? But anyway, we're coiling up here in XRP for a potential move up. And I've given you the target before. There's volatility in these price wicks, so I wouldn't necessarily be concerned with the exact measured move, but it takes you somewhere up in this area here in the 70-cent area range. So again, XRP is coiling up. ADA. Now, what's interesting about ADA, I had tweeted out today, and I wasn't taking a shit on ADA. I was being honest. The only thing I see is a potential falling wedge on, this is on a weekly view. You can kind of see maybe sort of a falling wedge, but price action for me, yeah, it's not. Now, look, I'm not saying this thing is going to drop massively in value. Don't hear what I'm saying here. I'm sure it's still going to be in the top 10 by the end of this cycle. But what I didn't like, I don't own any ADA, actually. I'm just saying as somebody who would be in the project. What I don't like to see is this 41 cent area was broken, and now we're entertaining levels down at 35. Now, what's interesting about 35 is it does look like a strong area of support. You can see I have it drawn here around 35. You could maybe draw it right in between 30 and 35. But there wasn't a whole lot of bullish stuff to point out here. I was expecting, honestly, to see something where price was coiled up, but we've just had sort of this breakdown, and there isn't any really strong bullish divergence on the RSI. So I don't really have anything bullish to say on ADA. Sorry, ADA fans. I'm just being honest with you. Doge, again, consolidation. You can see this chart speaks for itself, but we're sort of just range bound in this area here. And you can see the last time we've been range bound in an area, we went up. We were range bound in an area, we went up. So Doge looks like it's coiling up. Solana, very similar setup to what I would express. This is on a 3-day. Very similar comments to what I would speak to on Ethereum. You can see that price is sort of range bound in between this consolidation area, and yet the RSI is increasing. We have bullish divergence. So is it possible this could be a leading indicator to tell us we could be coiling up to potentially retest 47.50 and maybe this downward area of resistance, major downward area of resistance. So keep an eye on that on Solana. Now let's get into the last several charts here. Some of these you're more familiar with, some of these you are not familiar with. This is Injective Protocol, ticker symbol INJ. You could actually draw this a couple different ways. Either way you draw this is on a weekly. Again, price is coiling up. We're in here and just sort of coiling up. I saw some bullish divergence on the RSI that I wanted to point out. MACD's coming up, which is good. Is it on a 3-day? Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of bullish divergence there, but prices also increase. There is some bullish divergence in the RSI. The other way you can draw this, by the way, you don't have to draw this slanting. You can actually, if you wanted to, you could draw this sort of as an ascending triangle as well. You sort of have resistance right there. And you kind of have this top and you hit it and you come down to the ascending support and you hit it. So we're just sort of waiting for a breakout at some point on Injective Protocol. I own a decent stack of this one. H-bar. What's going on with H-bar? So the big thing I wanted to point out with H-bar, this is a 2-week chart that I love to see this MACD flattening out. I love to see it flattening out. Stochastic RSI is not very bullish right now. The nice thing about that is if price continues, if price goes in the direction I feel it will, which is up, there's a lot of room for the stochastic RSI to go. RSI is relatively low. Let's look at the 3-day and see if we see any coiling action. Sort of see, look what we're seeing here on H-bar. Do you guys know what pattern this is? What pattern, here I'll make this a little bit more distinctive so that you can see it. Does anyone know what this pattern is? And why I would say to you that price is coiling up. And you'll see this more definitively on the, there's 3 other charts here where you'll really see it really well. Does anyone know what's in this blue formation here? This formation right here. It starts wide and then it starts to get like really narrow. Does anybody know what that is? There's a little bit of lag in comments and asking. You are correct. Tom, you are correct. It is a falling wedge, which is bullish. So typically how you measure these moves, at least for an initial move up, let me show you how you do that. You measure from the bottom all the way up to the top, okay? And then it's really based on where it breaks out. So it would be, you know, if we broke out here, for instance, that's the target at like 12 cents. If we break out all the way down here at the end of November, well, now the target's at like 10 cents, so that's how you measure it. But anyway, yeah, this is a falling wedge. So again, this is why I say that the thumbnail is not clickbait. This is coiling up. Let's go to MPL. This is Maple. You can find this one on Coinbase. I took a small position here. Price has been underperforming relative to what I would have hoped to have seen. But what do we see here? Again, I haven't sold any of this, and I'm just sitting firm on a small position that I hold. Again, falling wedge. Falling wedge. The other interesting thing, and I tweeted this out, it's why it's important to follow me at Crypto Bull God on Twitter to get other TA comments. Look at this. Look at the touch point there on the black line, touch points, touch. This is on a higher time frame, by the way. I know this is invalid because the candle bodies go above it. I drew this on like a weekly. Touch here, touch here. Look, we're resting right on this line here, and we have a falling wedge. I mean, I would anticipate this thing to break up somewhere in this range within the next, maybe even several days this week. We'll have to see. Digibyte. Everybody forgets about Digibyte. Everybody forgets about Digibyte. Oh, it's a dying project. No one cares about Digibyte. Watch Digibyte. Now, I want you to remember me saying this, okay? Actually, let's look at the chart, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to say. Again, I'm looking at a falling wedge here, okay? And I'm also seeing price just consolidating in here. And if I look at the RSI, I'm also seeing as prices, you see how price is stagnant and it's going sideways? Look at the RSI, increasing in value, okay? So that's bullish divergence. The other thing I want to do on Digibyte real quick, for anyone who doesn't believe Digibyte's going to pull a 50x, because personally, and I'll have to revisit the targets with you guys, personally, I believe the targets I've been looking at for Digibyte for this cycle if I'm correct in saying that we're topping in 2023, I see this thing going between 40 to 60 cents. Yes, I just said 40 to 60 cents. That is correct. Guys, I understand, just like here, we've had a massive drop-off, and like here we had a drop-off, and here we had a drop-off, and here we have a drop-off. And I know that Digibyte's sitting at like 160 market cap. You're telling me, well, actually, you're not telling me anything. I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, what I believe. When this thing does run and we do break out of here, because I do believe that's going to happen, you're going to see this thing definitively in the top 100. Just remember me saying that because I will tweet about it. But there's consolidation going in Digibyte. Look at Loopring. I hold a position in this. Look at Loopring. Falling wedge. Coiling up for a move. We are so fucking tight in here. I'm expecting a large move in Loopring, okay? And I will tweet about it. Sushi Swap. For all the Sushi Swap holders. Again, I've been very wow, we're up 10% today. Go Sushi Swap fans. Man. I've been very transparent on Sushi Swap, saying, wow, market's getting some good price action here on the close. Good to see Bitcoin's up 1.8%. Let's get off that for the moment. But Sushi Swap, guys, I've been transparent with you. Sushi Swap is perhaps one of the worst calls I've ever made where I felt like, we were bottoming way up here, okay? And I was buying, okay? And I'm down big on Sushi Swap. In fact, I took advantage of some tax loss harvesting. If you don't know what that is, in 2021, I sold my Sushi Swap and bought it right back to take a loss and then, still retain the same position. You damn right, Steady. Go Digibulls. I'm a Digibull. I hold a sizable chunk of Digibyte. Just saying. It's on my ledger. It's away, and it's just awaiting 40 to 60 cents. Just saying. That's my own view. But anyway, look what's going on with Sushi Swap here, okay? What do you think I'm going to say? What did I say about Ethereum, and what did I say about Solana? What are we doing? We're consolidating in here. Now, we've come up. Look what we've done. We've hit this price level one major time. I would call this another hit. And almost here. I think the fourth time we come up here, we're going to break and start breaking up here past $2. Okay? And you can look at this. That is some mega bullish divergence on the RSI. Okay, Sushi Swap looks like it's setting up for a really big move here, potential move. Okay, and at $2, you guys say, "Oh my God, Sushi Swap! Oh wow, Sushi Swap's going to go to $2." Well, I mean, geez, CBG, this thing was up at look at this all-time high at 23.43. Well, as long as the chart doesn't fall apart, let me actually show you what's going on here, big picture. As long as the chart doesn't fall apart, okay? You see what's going on here? This is a wave 1 movement. And this is a wave 2 correction. Wave 3 tends to be the biggest impulse in an Elliott wave. So this thing has the potential to go much, 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 much higher than $23. And I know this is brutal. Much like the Bitcoin correction, this shit here is mega, mega, mega brutal, and it went much lower than I thought it was going to, okay? No going around that. But I just see consolidation and, again, bullish divergence on this daily time frame that's telling me this thing is set to break out, and we could be interacting, with upwards of 350 before you know it. So we'll have to see. Banned protocol. No one likes banned protocol. CBG, what the fuck are you looking at banned protocol for? Are you serious? This dude is pulling up banned protocol. Dead fucking project. Why are you pulling this thing up? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, similar to Sushi Swap, we have a wave 1 movement here. The other thing is there's a massive, massive falling wedge here. Okay, you can see that it starts. I have a position in this, full disclosure. Okay. Look at this. I bought this thing at $1.04, all right? So I am looking at this and saying, look, I mean, even for a short-term trade, this thing is, we got some bullish divergence in the RSI here. This thing is coiling up. It is coiling up. Last chart, and I'm going to get into your questions. Ren is another one I hold a small position in. This one, good close for Bitcoin here. We got 19 minutes. Let's see how this thing closes out. We have major Let's look at the price action first. We have major downward resistance here, okay, being touched. And now what's happening is we're sort of just coiling in this area. We flattened out. Look what's going on with the RSI. As we've begun to flatten out, to me, this is an awesome setup, and it's a smaller market cap. This thing has the potential to fly, okay? The potential. Hear what I'm saying? I'm not telling you this thing's going to fly tomorrow, this week, or ever. This thing could go to zero like with the rest of the market. I'm never giving you financial advice. That is not what I'm doing. I'm telling you, with this setup, this has me excited as a technician because this thing has the potential to really go hard, okay? Look at this RSI increasing in value, the bullish divergence as we're going sideways, and look at the descending line here. We are literally pressed up against resistance here. This thing has a possibility to just want to fucking explode, and you can see where I have resistance drawn. I mean, this thing could, I don't have some other resistance areas drawn here. I mean, this thing could easily come up 32 cents. I mean, this thing could triple in a matter of in a week before you know it. It's smaller market cap once again. All right, so those are all the charts that I wanted to cover. I hope that gives you a view through my eyes in terms of why I'm looking at a lot of these different charts, different market cap rankings. That's one of the other things I hope you appreciate. We've looked at the top 10. We've looked at things in the 50s or the 40s or the 30s, things in the 150s or 160s. There's a lot of consolidation and coiling up going on. So with that being said, let's see what questions you guys have. Moldy cheese. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome, brother. No, I'm not familiar with Jasmine. I'm not familiar with it. All right, so I have 2 chart requests. Getting to Excedre first on LCX. Let's do that, brother. Appreciate the question. And then skids up, we'll get to Casper. Casper the Friendly Ghost, as Nick says, which Nick is... Nick's a lot younger than me, so I don't even know how the hell he knows about Casper the Friendly Ghost. But, I mean, at least when I was growing up, I mean, I know Casper the Friendly Ghost, they came out with, like, movies and shit. But when I was growing up as a kid, I would watch reruns. This gives you an idea of the generation I grew up. I would watch reruns as a kid of Casper. I did not grow up when they were live, but I would watch reruns of Casper the Friendly Ghost, the cartoon, like the old cartoon. I mean, to me, that's Casper the Friendly Ghost. So I don't know how the hell Nick knows about Casper the Friendly Ghost. He's commented on it a few times. I'm like, Nick, that's pretty impressive that you know Casper the Friendly Ghost. I must have charted this before because I have this drawn. This is on a daily. Let's condense price action, actually. Okay, so the first thing that so a breakdown. I saw what I had drawn here. So let me tell you, somebody brought this up before. Tom and Jerry is solid. Someone brought this up before. Welcome in, mate. Welcome in down there from down south in Australia. That was terrible. I'm sorry. I apologize. I think like half the viewers just left after that imitation of an Australian accent. The reason I had this drawn out before, I mean, this is pretty clear cut, right? You see this sort of like tight pattern we were getting in. Look what was going on in the RSI as we were sort of going stagnant. There was bullish, and this is actually a great example. See how the RSI was increasing in value as price was stagnating? It didn't work out. We actually fell in price, okay? This is an awesome example of looking at something in the chart and saying, okay, to me as a technician, this is setting up for a good opportunity where the higher likelihood is a break to the upside in this area, seeing the bullish divergence and price going sideways, and it didn't work out. And what that speaks to is you have a probability. Let's say the probability is 65% and 35%. What does that mean? If I'm telling you this has a 65% probability of breaking to the upside, that's not telling you it's going to break to the upside. That's telling you that 65% of the time it breaks to the upside. 35% of the time, it doesn't do what is most likely at 65%. 35% of the time, we break down, right? That's what it's telling you. So we broke down. So what are we looking at now? Well, I have a definitive line. This is one of these projects, Excedre, that has done something similar to Decentraland, I think Sandbox, a Harmony One, and others, where we've created essentially a double bottom, okay? We have a double bottom. Bottom, double bottom. We think we're going to break below, but we maintain the double bottom. So what I would comment on, and this is good to see, this is on a 3-day, see how the stochastic RSI is curling up. RSI, it looks like it's at a healthy level. Okay, 45, 46, which is good to see. MACD, looking good. We're in the green. I like the consolidation here. I like that we back tested one time and held our prior all-time lowest support, and we've created a double bottom. I don't want to start coming down here, right? The 0.044, the 2 level, it needs to hold, and I don't want to start coming down to these price levels. If you believe in the project and you believe that crypto is going up, in my opinion, this is a good area to get into, to scale into. We could start to see a push to the upside as the rest of the market goes up, because you can tell that I feel the rest of the market is going to be going up in the shorter term here, and the midterm, and in the long term, going into next year overall. But if I'm looking for areas of resistance, first off, let's get rid of this line. I'm sorry, it's confusing me. I'm going to give you some areas to watch for, okay? So first off, if I wanted to get into this project, I would definitely be scaling in right now. I would not be waiting. That's just me. Let's say you have, I don't know, like $300. I'd put 100 in right now, or based on your risk tolerance level, maybe even 150, but maybe 100, put in a third. So you got a line of resistance. You got a range, really. Remember, I talk about ranges of resistance, right? So this is really a range of resistance between 6.2 cents, okay, and 6.5 cents. After that, major areas, it looks like right about here, okay, at about 7.2 cents. And then you have another area right about here, okay, at about 7.8 cents. So, Excedre, this is what I would watch for, okay, as we're consolidating in here. Let's see if there's any bullish divergence even here. Yeah, a little bit. There's a little bit. You can see a little bit. We're up here, kind of been increasing. A little bit of bullish divergence. Didn't work out last time. Doesn't mean it won't work out this time. But anyway, what I would focus on is our areas of resistance, which are 6.2 cents, 6.5 cents, 7.2 cents, and 7.8 cents. I hope you found that helpful. Okay, next question was for Casper. Because of the community, I scaled in. I know Nick has been a huge advocate of Casper. Looks like the RSI could be getting a little overheated. Yeah, one thing you want to keep an eye on, this is a 3-day chart. The RSI is getting a little overheated here. So something to, in fact, it's at historic levels on the 3-day. So something to be mindful of. Things can stay overheated and oversold for extended periods of time. I've said that time and time again. It's just something you would be mindful of. MACD's in great shape. Stochastic RSI is as high as it's going to get. Let's look at price levels, though. What is the chart telling us? Look at the weekly, actually. Probably. Yeah, so, you know, guys, when I charted this out last time, let's go back to 3-day. When I charted this out last time, I spoke to this area as being major resistance, and look what happened. We wicked right up here, right? It's like 5.6 cents to 5 cents, okay? This is going to be major area of resistance. I don't see resistance really on Casper. Once we break that, I don't see any major resistance until around we're going to call this 7.5 cents, okay? So we got 7.5 cents. So what you want to watch for Casper on the upside, okay? Again, things could, let me give you my honest assessment of this. Like because I am looking to scale more into this project. So let me give you my frame of mind, right? So what I would think, you know, I'm looking at this chart and I'm like, all right, you know, as I get paid this month, the remainder of this month going into November, I can afford X, Y, and Z into crypto. I'm looking to scale in a little more here. Here's what I want to watch for. Well, I tell myself, you know, price could break this area and start going up to 7.5 cents, but, you know, things look a little overheated. And I think what's more likely is we could pull back to this golden zone. We actually did, by the time we charted this out, by the way, we actually did wick into this zone. I drew this out before these two candlesticks. So we actually did, as you can see, wicked into here. but I still feel like things are a little overextended, and I would be a little more conservative, and I would be patient, and I would see how price develops over the next several days. But I think I could get something maybe closer to 4.2 or maybe even 3.5 cents. One of the things I like when I look at this chart is we have a low, a higher low, and now a higher high. Okay, very, very bullish. Now, what could happen is maybe we get a pullback to 4.2 cents and then we continue up. We never get down into these areas. Maybe we never touch 4.2 cents. Maybe this thing stays overheated and we go all the way up to 7.5, and now we back test this as support, right? As 5 cents to 5.6. So you kind of have to assess based on your own risk tolerance level how you want to scale into Casper. For me, I would want to be patient if it were me, okay? Which it will be me. This is going to be me because I'm planning on scaling into more. I'm willing to say, okay, this thing's a little overextended. It's at 4.7. I think I could at least get like a 12 or 13% pullback. I'm going to be a little patient here. And if I'm wrong, I think I believe the worst case scenario for me who wants to get in is I watch this thing run and I'm like, okay, it ran and it hits somewhere up in this area, but then it starts to pull back in the 5. I set a buy limit order for like maybe 5.1 cents. So now what are we talking about? This is 4.74, the 5.1, right? So hypothetically, if that happened, you're talking about missing out on 7.6%, okay? 7.6% versus I see this thing dropping maybe like, like I said, 12, 13% or more. So you kind of have to assess that for yourself. So that's my view on Casper. I hope that was helpful. All right, I'll take a look at Curve Finance. I haven't looked at that one in a little while. I hold a very small amount in that. Again, I look at my portfolio. Actually, without disclosing too much, I'm not going to. But I actually have a personal, I have my personal portfolio, right, guys? But then I also have a retirement account where I hold cryptocurrency as well. So when I comment that I hold some of these things, it's either in my personal or my, what the hell's going on there? Personal or retirement? What the fuck's going on there? You're welcome, Skids Up. I'm glad I could help. I don't know what's going on, but that's frustrating. All right, so we're going to chart this even though I have a chart put together, we're going to chart this from the start. So ICO, we got to ignore this price action. Really, the all-time high is right about there, Actually, those were wicks. Let's just say it's 660, all-time highs there. So I'm looking at this, I want to enter a position, right? Let's say I want to increase my position, right, theoretically. So, fuck that. You got a lot of lower highs that we need to overcome here. First thing I'm looking at is that guy, okay? We have some descending resistance here, okay? Anything's possible, Tom. I'm not going to say that can't happen. It's just I'm not personally basing my investment decision on that. But if it happens, that would be awesome, right? I mean, you could say that about any fundamental token that you believe in, like HBAR, right? You look what happened to something that ran super, super hard and ran up to number 40 like Harmony One, right? And it's sitting at like 127, right? You don't know. But anyway, I'm digressing. This is a 3-day chart. Looks like there's some price confluence there. So we have an area of support right now that we're forming. And it looks to be around 85 cents. Okay, that's good to see. I would say this is another area. We actually wicked below it. And again, guys, keep in mind this is These, I'm a major bull on H-bar too. I hold a sizable chunk of H-bar. These are price regions, right? Not specific price levels. So I got 77 cents. I had 85 cents as an area of support. Now, what about resistance? Well, guys, this is really easy to pick out. Look how this isn't magic. How am I right there? Basically right there. So how did I pick this level out? There's a price wick here, a price wick here, 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 candle body slightly above, wick here. So there's another level around 93 cents, right? Other levels, I like that right there. We're going to keep it real simple. So here's what I would say on CRV. Right now, we have a low. We have our all-time low that we hit on this correction at 54 cents. Wow. We have a high here, and now we have a higher low. We're still waiting for the next higher high to come in. We want to get higher than this high, right? We want 2 higher highs, and we want 2 higher lows. That's about as good as I can draw a car. This is a car for me because I can't draw for shit, right? I do numbers. So that's what I'd want to look for. So how can we actually get to that higher high? We have a few obstacles we need to overcome. We have approximately 93 cents. We have $1.06. And then we also have this descending line of resistance. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, descending line of resistance. So we have a ways to go before we can get up there. One more line of resistance, guys, I'm going to give you right there. Okay, right about there. Right about there. So we have 93 cents, $1.05, and $1.50. That's what I would look for on CRV. Okay, major areas of resistance. Casper looks like it could be turning into a falling wedge. I didn't see that at first glance, really. Oh, did I just... Fuck. Sorry, did I turn... I meant to go to my blank chart. I didn't want to... Shit. I hope that was helpful on CRV. I'm going back to Casper. I don't want to save over my chart. Fuck. Come on. There we go. So you're saying a falling wedge? What falling wedge? I don't follow what you're saying. No, I don't see a falling wedge. I'm not really sure. What time frame are you looking at? I mean, I could go to like a 4-hour. No, I don't see a falling wedge. I'm sorry, I don't see... Sorry, Brendan, I don't see the falling wedge that you're looking at. I don't know what time frame you're looking at, but... And this, if you're referring to the bigger structure here, this is, to me, is not a falling wedge. Whoop. If you're referring prior to the breakout and you're saying that this here... No, that's not a falling... This is not a falling wedge. No. No, you can't, like... You can't take the line and draw it, you know, back here and then say, oh, look, it's a falling wedge. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm just not following what you're saying. But this is not a falling wedge. I don't believe that. And there's nothing in the current price structure that says this is a falling... Nothing in here is a falling wedge. I don't see that. Oh, LCX? I don't know. I mean, you know, are we seeing a falling wedge or are we kind of stretching it? Let's see, because feels to me like a little bit of a stretch. Maybe. I mean, honestly, Brendan, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I think it's just consolidation. We got some bullish divergence. If you want to try to turn that into a falling wedge, I think you're just... I think it's a bit of a stretch. I wouldn't agree to draw that as a falling wedge, to be honest with you. Anything else? Oh, Moldy Cheese, I missed your comments. You're saying is ICP... Dude, I haven't looked at ICP. I haven't read good things about it. I haven't charted it in a while, but I remember it just looked like it was falling apart. I could see if I still have a chart on it. I'm going to take one more question after that, and I'm going to call it a night. We actually got our weekly close. I want to look at Bitcoin with you guys. Before I tune out, I want to look at Bitcoin and see where we closed. Look at this shit. I haven't charged it for... This chart looks horrible, all right? I might make a video on charts that just look god-awful. There's two I'm thinking of that look like pump and dumps. There's actually both of them, actually. I used to hold small positions in and I got out, and I'm like, this just isn't worth it. It looks like a piece of shit. You can tell me all day fundamentally you believe in something, but if it looks like a piece of shit chart-wise, like why would you... Okay, so look at this chart. Why would you want to invest in this? Like, why? Like, let me just make this clear. Look at this. This is a horrible looking chart. This is one of the worst charts I've ever looked at. Look at that. This is a piece of shit. If you're putting your money in this, hoping, looking at this, you think we're going to go from $5 up to like $2,891? You have a lot of things to learn in this market. You have a lot of things to learn about life and investing. Look, we've all made mistakes, and I don't mean that as a knock to you, and moldy cheese, this is not a knock to you. I appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate you asking this question. I'm making a very important point here so that nobody makes a really bad mistake from an investment philosophy perspective. Just because something was at $3,000 and we're down at $5 doesn't mean it needs to go up to $3,000, all right? This is a horrible looking chart. Horrible, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, and we're sitting at $5. You know, when we have, if I'm correct, and we do have one last leg in the bull market in 2023 for that fifth wave, this thing will rise up. Maybe it does a 30x or 40x or whatever it does. Maybe it gets up to like 230 or something like that. I'm not saying that it can't have a good run, but looking at this is a horrendous looking. It's not even worth charting, to be honest with you. It's just a horrible looking chart. I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. Nah, wouldn't bother. AVAX. Avalanche. I don't have a chart on it. All right, this is going to be the last chart that I'm going to look at, and then we're going to take a look at Bitcoin to see where we closed out. Thought I had a canned chart for that one, but I guess I don't. Whew, starting to get a little tired, you know. Oh, man, it's been an exciting October for the Phillies, but it's sleepless October, man. You stay up for these games, and you still get up early to wake up and work out and do your daily thing of putting charts out on Twitter. I mean, I start work like really, really early in the morning. I'm starting to feel it right now. I'm going to bed after this. No problem, Molly. I hope that helped. And like I said, I hope that you appreciated my commentary because I want to be really straight with you. Because I even though I don't know anyone here, I know no one here personally. I genuinely care, even if I don't know you, about you guys avoiding mistakes, right? So the way that I framed that, the way I did, and I was so strong in what I was saying, I just don't want anyone here to make any stupid mistakes. I really don't, right? Just because I don't know you personally doesn't mean I don't care about the choices that you make with your investments. I want to see people succeed, especially people that tune in here. Like I genuinely want to help people out. So let's take a look at AVAX. This is a 3-day chart. Thanks, Brendan. 3-day chart. A 3-day chart. Hope no one here charts. Charting is not going to be a good time. And if you don't know what charting is, I don't want to go off the wheels. We sort of broke this downward resistance, which is good to see. I'm not going to go into downward resistance. Let's look at, first thing I want to look at are indicators. Okay. Let's go to a smaller time frame. This is ticker symbol AVAX, Avalanche, for all those unfamiliar. The first thing I want to point out to you guys, which is good to see, even though price has been dropping and declining in value, you can see that the relative strength index has been decreasing. right? So look at price here, decreasing in value, but that's really good to see. If we go to a higher time frame, we still it's still drawn out. You can still see on a higher time frame. Let's go to like a 4-day, see if we can still see it. We can still see it. About a weekly. Yeah, we can still see it. So that is good to see. Now, what I want to provide you with, are areas of price confluence so that you know where important levels of support are and important areas of resistance, okay? So the first area I would draw, which looks like a no-brainer, let's get off price indicators. We're focusing on price action, okay? Right there. Okay, green is for areas of support. There's sort of another area. Oh, that's, well, I mean, that's not coincidental. Sort of another area right about there, which is causing resistance. So not surprising we're getting a little bit of resistance there. I love when there's price confluence in the charts. It's the sexiest thing I have going on in my life right now, all right? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't know what you guys think of me. You know, you see this side of me when I come on here and chart for you. I got to tell you, you know, my life is not that exciting. So if I'm saying this is sexy to me, probably tells you something about my life, all right? Let's see what we got going on here. We got a zone of resistance. I like to keep shit real with you guys, right? I mean, if you've been here for a while, you know that. At some point when this bull market comes back, I will return to true form, and the crypto bull god will return in true form, and let the crypto bears know what he thinks of them. But we're just not there yet. But I'm amped up to do that. Let's see. So, guys, this isn't, if you're watching me here and not actually listening to me because I'm not making any sense as I'm rambling, I'm literally just looking for areas of price confluence like candle bodies and candle wicks to draw these areas of resistance in this case, okay? So it's not magic. I mean, you if you've been doing this for years, you kind of know what to look for, and it gets easier and easier and easier. And there is an element of subjectivity to this. Definitely. So this is what I would watch for on AVAX. All right, who asked this question? I forget. Tom, okay? Tommy! Like Tommy Gunn from Rocky V, the forgettable Rocky movie in the series of Rocky movies. Hey, for everyone new tuning in, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and drop me a comment. Subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. Got to leave a banner in the YouTube video because I'm getting sick of saying that. Got to figure that out. All right, so for AVAX, this is what I like to see, all right? We got a low and we got a higher low. We need to take, now we formed a higher low here, okay, relative to this one. That's good to see. Barely, but it's still there. What we need to do is we need to take out like 31 bucks, all right? So you can see for AVAX, there is a major, damn it. There's a major area, I can feel I'm starting to get tired. There's a major area of resistance right up in between $29 and $31. We need to take out this area. Now, the next area I would take an educated guess on based on price confluence that we're going to face some resistance, 39 bucks. 39. And 40 is a psychological level, so 39, 40 bucks, it would make sense. Then you're talking about $47, then you're talking about 54. So we have several steps to start clearing resistance-wise to begin to entertain a blue sky breakout to create all new time highs, all right? We got to break above the $29 to $31 area, 39, 40 bucks, 47, and then around 54. Once we break 54, let's have a conversation. Come on the live stream and I'll rechart this and we can take a look at it, all right? But we got to do this in steps and not get too ahead of ourselves. Now let's take a look at where Bitcoin closed out the week. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome pants. Did I just invent a word? Awesome. All right. Stochastic RSI looking healthy. This is only 2 weeks, see? And again, I want to emphasize this because I know I spoke to this an hour ago. This is why you tune into this channel. We don't look at things surface level and say the stochastic RSI crossed down, clickbait thumbnail, reason for Bitcoin to go down. No, let's actually go back in time and historically look at the stochastic RSI negative crosses when it's been above 20 on the 2-week, and let's look at probabilities of downturns or non-events, right? And so if you paid attention to that commentary a couple weeks back, there was no reason to be overly alarmed, and look what's going on. We have a positive cross. So so this is good to see. Let's look at the weekly. Okay, stochastic RSI is in good shape. RSI, we need to get above 41. All right, what about Ethereum real quick? Okay, Ethereum's right in this red zone. Very bullish close on Ethereum. Very good to see. All right. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I got a couple videos coming out this week. I have a few videos coming out this week. I have a list here, I believe, which 2 I know I'm gonna put out this week. And then we have the happy hour on Wednesday or Thursday. I'll have to think about what major topics to think about. Hey, by the way, one thing I was thinking of adding to the Bitcoin crypto happy hour at some point, I'll have to think about how to format it, is we need to keep things lively, all right? We can't just come on and always talk about just crypto stuff. I want to keep things lively during the happy hour. So, I listen to podcasts. And one thing that I really appreciate about some channels that I listen to are when they go into the life advice section. So one thing I was entertaining doing the idea of is maybe I'll give out an email, cryptobullgod@gmail. You can email me with the subject line life advice. It could be anything in life, right? And it will remain anonymous. Whoever sends me the email, it's anonymous. I'll read the email, and then I'll give you my life advice. It could be life advice about relationships, finance, marriage, kids, some fucking douchebag at the gym, some asshole at work that's annoying the shit out of you and what to do about that. It could be anything, just to keep things lively during the happy hour, because, we can't just look at charts all day and talk about crypto. Yeah, you gotta keep shit real, So appreciate everyone tuning in. Hopefully you found the commentary helpful on how we kind of closed out the week. Make sure to click the bell icon for notifications. Unclick the bell and re-click it, because that's been a source of frustration for some people. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoBullGod. I'm nearing 11.6, getting closer to 11.6 there. I put out a lot of content on TA. So once again, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure to spread awareness and carry the education forward. Thanks, everybody. Go Phils.